My name is Juan Pagan. I'm the president of the Florida Hispanic American Chamber of Commerce in Palm Beach County and the state of Florida.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, this is a real treat, especially for those of you who are in Palm Beach County and the surrounding areas. I have Chief Admiral. I could give him so many titles, right? But I have Juan Pagan of the Florida Hispanic American Chamber of Commerce. He's going to give us the game, and I want you guys to know that I think that as entrepreneurs, all chambers should come together because with unity we win. But Juan, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Very, very good. In spite of these times of pandemic, which has been very challenging for a lot of the small businesses and also some of the big businesses. But the small businesses have been the most affected, in the area. And we have spent the whole a year plus, a year and a half or more, trying to help those small businesses. They use the opportunities that are available, such either through grants with the Small Business Administration, through loans, special loans that are available, and try to walk them through the process because it's not easy. And especially when you have a small business, that sometimes the size of that business is two when the owner look itself in the mirror, So it's basically very challenging. And also at the same time, trying to encourage these small businesses to get certified with opportunities that are available within the county and the state, but also within the cities, because they have certain amount of money in budgets that are available for projects, whether it's constructions or consumption of other opportunities, and some of these businesses, they don't want to go through the process because they find that it's too much paperwork or it's too much trouble, And when you're talking about minority business, whether they're Hispanic, African American, or whatever, they go like, well, normally what I do is I call my cousin that he works with the city, or he's the cousin of the mayor. No, come on, that changed. That's not the way to do it again. So we have to get together, and like you said, the chambers. This is not about the chamber. We as a chamber, we have been in the state, here in the Palm Beach County, year 2003. That's about 17, 18 years, But it's about how do we help businesses come together? How do we move forward? Because even the big sources of income, such as the bank, they don't want to sponsor those small businesses because their accent, is different. Because their skin looks different, So it is about how can we work together, and we as a chamber, we have right now, and that's the reason, one of the things that changed about the name. We used to be called the Puerto Rican Hispanic Chamber of Commerce when we came here in 2003, but obviously through the years we have grown, and the population in Palm Beach County have changed dramatically, and right now we have over 21 countries from Latin America and the Caribbean represented in Palm Beach County. And when we look at our membership, that's what we have seen. And we have those countries represented all the way from Mexico to Argentina, represented. Also, when we look at the other one, from the Virgin Islands, Curacao, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Haiti, and so forth. They're represented in our chamber. So it is about how can we work together and recognize that there's the only thing in common that we have is that they call us Hispanic. Now, I would like to ask those who have a lot of knowledge of geography and maps and all that, if they can tell me where Hispania is located, because I haven't found it yet. The only thing, one size does not fit all. It's about how can we distinguish between one cultural trait versus another one, and how do we recognize and work together? We can agree to disagree, but we can move forward together. And the more we move forward, the more we can pull and push forward.
Definitely, definitely. Now, a lot of people, businesses, my company's been an 8A firm. We've had, many certifications, and people tell me, I don't want to go through all of that because I've tried and they denied me. And I said, yeah, they denied me. And I had to do the 200 pages of paperwork again to get it. But I wanted it to see what I was missing out on. What testimonies have you seen from other businesses? You don't have to say names, but have you seen, because of certification, that companies that would not have probably gotten the money were called or alerted to say, hey, why don't you come join this party? We are allowing a business to, make some money off this project. Have you seen it work for others?
Definitely so. We have seen it, and one of the things is, for example, when you look at that paperwork that have to be filled out and complied with, because there are requirements from the state, there's requirements from the county, there's requirements from the cities. That's what they have, all these kind of laws in there. But at the same time, when you look at, for example, when you look at the school district in Palm Beach County, the budget for constructions, projects, and so on, and everything else that is involved there, is almost $1 billion. Hello, that's a lot of money, my friend. That could help. When you look at the cities, such as West Palm Beach, you're talking also $500 million. That's a lot of money. And then when you look, yes, you have to be certified with one and certified with the other one. But the reality of the matter is that there's certain level of reciprocities between cities and the county level that basically you fill out already. 70% of the paperwork will cover both of them. Is that 30% that maybe you need to complete to be certified in the city of West Palm Beach, or the city of Lake Worth, or the city of Delray, but it's just the minor stuff. The big stuff is already filled out. And the same thing with the county. And that's what they're trying to help the small business to move forward. And there are big companies that they started, and all of a sudden, boom, their bank account changed to the positive way.
Yeah, and that's good to mention, because I think sometimes until people see it, right, they can't believe it until you can taste the dinero, until you can say, wow. It's kind of like graduating. While you're in school, you don't know how this degree is going to benefit you, but it's not until you actually land that first job that you would not have gotten without that piece of paper, and then you start to appreciate it. There needs, to me, be more testimonials like this was church, online, with entrepreneurs saying, I got this certification. I worked with the Florida Hispanic American Chamber, and they kept me in tune with a lot of stuff. And now look at the contracts that I had that I did not have. Has the chamber, almost like pulled people, I want to say bullied people, to share their story more?
Well, we try to encourage them, obviously, to do that, to be able to share, to be able to move forward, to participate, be more active, and let the others know, because that will be the truth of success, and that's what we wanted to do, and some of them are afraid. The other thing is another reality, okay, whether we want to accept it or not, some of these, and not a lot of them, but some of these small companies, the owners, the ones who are, fighting day in, day out, they don't even speak English. That's the reality. So they got to find their CPAs, their lawyers, whoever, to fill out the paperwork because it's in English, and they don't know what they're doing, or they don't understand it. Yeah, they know what they're doing as far as the business is concerned, but the paperwork, the requirements, becomes a little bit complicated because of the language. Well, that's where we're moving and helping with the county to have certain portions of that language available in different languages, such as Spanish, Creole, and English, so that when you go to their website, you can look at it, and see, okay, now I understand where we're going, and that's the reality. And again, they need to share, they need to make sure they participate, that they're willing to do it and move forward. And there's some small businesses, that we have now from our members, that they've been able to accomplish that, and they move from being a very little company to becoming, they're not FPL or they're not Next Era, but they are competing now in the millions side of businesses. And that's, as you see that growth over the years, you go like, wow, that's success. And that's what really matters. It's not easy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not easy. And I can't tell people if my certifications have, had me get here. What I know is they haven't hurt me. And so on my way up the ladder, I'm like, well, it doesn't hurt to have, like many things. But, in not speaking English, and because in this country, if folks don't know, you don't have to speak English. There's no mandate on that. There's no law on that. You are open to speak whichever language you want. That's what makes this country very unique. I would take the testimonials even in whatever language someone speaks. But yes, the translation, and I've heard you be an advocate in my short time being here in South Florida with the government, making sure that things are in more than just English. Because Juan, I'm going to go here with you, and you don't have to go so far down the rabbit hole that I'm going to go, but I think you can follow me and you won't be embarrassed. When people come to Puerto Rico, or they go to DR, or they come to Cameroon, they might not speak the language there. But men especially find a date real quick. You don't see too many single guys in these places coming from abroad. So they find a way where they learn enough and they can communicate enough with, the women there, especially when they want to bailar or cantar. They don't let language stop them. So in business, we should have that same grace and that same openness to say, yes, I want you to be a part of this because you are part of the community, and your progress is mine. How long ago was it that you saw governments putting things in Spanish and in Creole? Has it always been like that in South Florida, or is this something new?
No, it's relatively new, quote unquote. Because you really look, one of the basic places that change started happening very early on was in Miami-Dade County. When you have the exodus from Cuba coming on, and that really moved. Then as the years went by, then you have the exodus from New York, coming to Orlando. Well, you have a lot of exodus before from Puerto Rico to the Bronx to Chicago to other part of the United States, because all the people in Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens, so they can go in and out whenever they want. So they have families in the States, and they move there. And then little by little, these transitions start happening in Orlando, where you see a lot of migration of people from Puerto Rico moving to Kissimmee, moving to Orange County, etc. in Orlando. And that's been happening, that's been going on. And when you look this here in, for example, Palm Beach County, when I moved here, the Hispanic population was not even 10%. And right now, according to the last census of the 2020, that population is estimated to be anywhere between 24 to 30%. It is the estimate in there. But at the same time, you look by cities also. You look at the city of Green Acres, for example, 62% of the city of Green Acres are Hispanic. When you look at the city of Lake Worth Beach, 34% of the population are Hispanic. You look at West Palm Beach, 24% of the population are Hispanics, and so on and so on. And there are organizations here that work with them, support them, and so forth. You have something here that some people, when I mention it, they open their eyes. There is a Hispanic Pastors Association, and that comprises over 450 churches, Hispanic churches, between Lantana and Jupiter. And then people go like, what? Yeah, there is that amount. And some of the churches, that membership might be, 25, 50 people, but others are 400, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, so it depends, but the whole thing is about, okay, how do we accomplish what we need to do? How do we move forward together? And at the same time, how do we encourage those individuals who already are permanent residents, that they comply with all the requirements of the law, blah, blah, with the citizenship and things like that. But that then some of them refuse to participate in the electoral process. And we don't tell anyone in our chamber which party to vote for. But we encourage people, you have the right to exercise your vote, go and do it. That's part of the freedom of the United States. That's part of democracy. And you exercise it, regardless of the party you feel your feelings for. No, it is about participation. And that's what also we're trying to encourage candidates candidates to participate and become. When you look here in Palm Beach County, there is only one Hispanic mayor in the whole county, and that's in the city of Green Acres. So when you look at them, why? Well, again, participation, willing to commit, willing to deliver. When you look at the medical director of the healthcare district, well, the medical director, she's Hispanic, she's Cuban, but she's been here forever, but at the same time, it's encouraging the people. Yes, if you get sick, we're gonna get somebody there who wants to speak your language, whether it's Creole, whether it's Spanish, doesn't really matter. We're gonna help you. And we also see with Portuguese, because the Brazilian is also a population that is growing here very fast. So it is about how do we work together and push forward together. The chamber is something, organization is about the community. How do we work with the community? How do we encourage the community? We don't have the millions of dollars that other chambers of commerce might have. But, what we try to do, let's work with those individuals that are hurt the less. Those who cannot hardly hear, and, because nobody pays attention. So that's what we want to do. And it's not that we are, how do we say, social workers or anything like that. No. This is about making sure that people assume the responsibility that they're supposed to, and that they move forward in a steady pace. And yes, you're gonna fall in the way, but you get up again and you walk again. And that's what we try to is encouragement, moving, promoting, moving forward. And if you don't know, ask a question. We don't know. We don't have all the answers, but we can find places where the answers might come from, and if we cannot find it, we can work together and find somebody else who will do it, and we'll find the answer. So it is, again, the attitude, how to approach the system.
Now, when you talk about, let's just say for Puerto Rico, and I would say, most of Latin America, it could falls under this of stereotype in America. Depending on where you live, you might have never even met a Puerto Rican or not known, because if you're on the West Coast, a Puerto Rican magically becomes a Mexican to many. And, a Mexican becomes unwanted if they go to New York sometimes, and it just depends on what circles you are in. But I've lived in circles of in Springfield, Mass, where there's real community of Puerto Ricans, and it's more than just pinchos and a parade, right? It's, business owners and people who are just doing the American dream. Do you feel like America has a good base on what a Puerto Rican is? Because I know many of women who are still fetishized that are Puerto Rican, like Asian women are, and that they're just, oh, I'm sure you can cook and dance and be a good wife. But no, these women want to run the world. So do you think that America knows enough about Puerto Rico outside of J-Lo and Mark Anthony?
That's a very interesting question. Probably not. A lot of people still, put everybody in the same bag. They're Hispanics, or they're undocumented, or they're illegals, regardless of where they come from. So it doesn't really matter. It has to be Puerto Rican, Guatemala, Venezuelan, whatever. It is about trying to put one size fits all. No, it doesn't work like that. Everybody's different, different cultures. That's why within the chamber, we created something that is called Fiesta de Pueblo, which is an annual event that is celebrated every year around a religious festivity that is well known in the Hispanic community. And it's called the Epiphany, or Three Kings Day. Why? Because the three kings are the Santa Claus of the Hispanic kids. Those three guys, are the ones who bring presents to the kids, in the middle of the night in every Latin country. And that's common between Mexico all the way to Argentina, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and so on. But we celebrate that every year at the Green Acres Community Park. Even though the first time we did it at the fairgrounds. At the fairgrounds, the issue was we have to charge for the admission. So there was an admission charge. Then there was the rides of the kids. And then whatever you consume, you have to pay. So when you look also, you got to look at the questions of finances. Well, the average salary in Palm Beach County is about between $30,000 to $45,000 a year. And you have a family of four that is going to go to the fairgrounds. and I'm gonna be spend a day, doing in this park, taking rides, eating, and so forth. At the end of the day, you might spend $150. That type of salary, that's a hit in your pocket, So it is tough. So therefore, that time in 2007, we have developed a relationship with the city of Green Acres, and the former mayor at that time, he asked us bring it to the Green Acres Community Park. We brought it there. Why? Free admission for the whole county. So people were free to attend. All you pay for consumption. Whatever you consume, obviously you have to pay. That was part of it. But at the same time, and the last one we had was in year 2020, January 8th or 6th of 2020, that Saturday. It's an event that started at 12 o'clock at noon and finished at 9 o'clock at night, and different ages group shows up during the day. It's about music, it's about arts, it's about education, it's about cities, so we have 21 countries represented there. We created the villages, so all the way from Mexico to Argentina were represented there, and everybody brings whatever is special and cultural of their own country. At the same time, yes, we have small businesses, part of the booth that they rented for that day. Also, we have big businesses, and also we have like PBSO, the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. We also have the school district, so again, education, recruiting for teachers, recruiting for personnel during that whole day. And obviously, yes, around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, guess who show up? The three kings with presents, and they were presents for over 2,000 kids who came to the park that day for the rides and everything else. And at the same time, we have the sponsors like the Flagler Museum. Again, education is part of this. It's not only party, it's not only eating, it is about how can we move together the community and how can we help. Yeah, there was music, there was dancing, there was eating, and the whole thing. But at the same time, there was education, and culture, because every country is different. And we were able to accomplish that, and we've been doing it that year. We're already planning the one for 2022, and we're crossing our fingers that this COVID-19 will be very resolved, and that most of the people vaccinate so that we can really create that herd immunity. Because if we don't vaccinate, if we don't work with that, we don't got to get out of the hole. So we have to move forward, and the masking, putting masks and all that in schools, well, it's a way to protect the kids, and this is what it's all about. It's not imposing anything on the kids. It's about protection. The same thing with vaccination. If you get vaccinated, that doesn't mean I'm going to get COVID. I could get it. The only problem, according to science, is that I might not go to the hospital, not need to. The other thing is that when it hit me, the COVID might be less hard on me, if I don't have any pre-existing conditions and so forth. So it's about looking with a very wide angle that is not just politics, because this isn't really, the COVID-19 doesn't distinguish if you're Republican or Democrat or independent. It's going to hit you if it's going to hit you. So it is about, again, working together. And that's what we're looking forward in January of 2022 to be able to have Fiesta del Pueblo again, because like I mentioned, that was an event that in 2020, January 2020, we have over 10,000 people who attended, so, and if we never had any type of incidents, anything like that. It's been everybody enjoy. And then we can see by the group age, you have the older people, they come early, between 12 and 4 o'clock, they're there, then they leave. Then you got the younger generation that comes to get the presents, and then from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you see the young and wild, they come to dance, they come to, really have a lot of fun and things like that. But everything following the rules and all that, and it's really nice, when you have that camaraderie and you have that relationships, and people, meeting each other and knowing new people all the time.
Man, if you guys don't know what, Three Kings is all about, it's, you could cancel Santa Claus and replace that, because that can actually be referenced in the scriptures. Go to Matthew 2 and just read on and get lost in them. So let me ask, because somebody will hear you, talk, and I mean, it's like you're going for sainthood. How did you get to the position you're at? People want to know, like, how do you get there? Because they only see, people only focus when you're winning, and when they see you have a title in a position and say, oh, of course, he must have had it easy, his dad must have been this, or his TO was that. How did you get to where you're at?
Well, like you said, it's not been easy. My whole life I was in public school, and I went to college in Puerto Rico. I was, and I don't want to talk about age, but I was drafted. I was part of the draft. I received that letter that said, "Congratulations, you've been selected to serve in the best armed forces of the world." And during the Vietnam War, so I was part of that. So again, it is, how do you move? How do you make it? My daughters, and then you move forward. I was very fortunate that I applied and qualified and took the appropriate tests and all that kind of things to qualify for work for one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world. And I started with them as a sales representative. Then they decided to punish me. They sent me, to the US to get cold weather, and then other parts of the world. And then at the end, after 35 years with them, goodbye, you cost 25 cents too much, so and you're done. But it was a great experience. I had the opportunity to work with many people of different parts of the world, and learn other cultures and learn other countries and learn that not one side does not fit all, and I did learn what is a third world country looks like, and what are the problems, what are the issues, and how do you try to work and help, because it's about helping. And then when you're in the medical field, and the pharmaceutical industry, you learn all the other stuff. No, I'm not a doctor, but I learned a lot of stuff, that I could have a decent conversation with any physician, about diseases, treatments, and so forth. Something you learn and you have to study. Yeah, I have to study, from morning to night. But it was a great experience. And then once I was out of Lilly, I've been involved with the chamber since they were in Broward County. Then we brought it to Palm Beach County and continued involvement. It's about the communities. How do you help the community? How do you work together? And it's not about the position. The position for me, titles never mind. It is about working, helping people that you try to do. And the other thing is, never stop learning. I don't know everything. So for me, learning is something that is a goal every day. Learning something new, learning something different that I didn't have before. So because that might help me help somebody else. Or if I cannot, I will know who to look for and get that person to do it. So that's really, the way I look at it. Maybe I'm too naive, and I'm thinking, no, what, the world doesn't work like that. Well, I'm still around.
You're still around, and you're still, helpful, impactful. And, you guys, I really want you to look at the links in the description to go check out the chamber website. And, if you want to connect, even during these times of, we might not be able to do it in person as much as we like, there's still some benefit, because with unity, we win. Now, a lot of what you're doing right now, though, and why I say sainthood, Juan, is, you are really giving back. So I would love for you to tell the people, what is a community give back that you are doing that you haven't mentioned? Because it seems like your whole life now is about giving back, or a community give back that you would like to do in the future, because the best is yet to come.
Well, because another thing you got to look at is that business is very important, obviously. Get the small business moving forward, cooperation, getting people to work, to find employment, and all that is critical. And many of our members, they place their job opportunities in our webpage. And we make sure we put it on our social pages like Facebook and so forth. But it's also of stepping forward when the community needs help, because of a major disaster. And for example, we can move back a few years when Puerto Rico had Hurricane Maria that attacked the island, hit the island very hard and so forth. Well, immediately we moved within the county, and we have the cooperation of the Palm Beach County, the Port of Palm Beach, and so forth. And immediately through the Commissioner Catherine Waldron, we were able to create Palm Beach County Cares relief effort. And that really works, and it will help Puerto Rico a lot back then. Now we have the situation that is happening in Haiti with the earthquake. Well, we reactivated Palm Beach County Cares again, and here we are trying to help with shipments, with materials to go over there to Haiti, and help the people that really need it. So it is about helping. At the same time, also, we recognize during the year, we have an event, that we recognize the Black Month, like it's August, right? Black Culture Month. We recognize also the Hispanic Awareness Month in September. There we recognize the students, we recognize teachers, 2 teachers, 4 teachers, 4 students, something like that. Is what we do, So, and through the year, we also recognize businesses, and we try to move it in the direction to continue working together. But at the same time, we try to have our monthly networks, which were interrupted for obvious reasons, where we get the people to get to know each other. We get the opportunity to everyone who attends to introduce themselves, tell them what the business is all about, and put the word of mouth out there so that people get to know who you are, what do you do, how do you help the community, and how can I use you? How can I benefit from your business? How can I use your business and move forward? So that kind of thing is all the time what we have in mind.
And what would you say, to people who say, well, I want to join, and they may be Puerto Rican, and Puerto Rican is not just one thing at all. You could even be Asian and be Puerto Rican. There's a smaller percentage, but that could be you. But they say, I don't speak Spanish, or my Espanol is malo. I don't know if I'm going to understand anything at the meetings, or if anyone will talk to me. What do you say to those people? Because I have a feeling you guys just don't speak Spanish.
Well, exactly. And all our meetings are in English, because we have people from all over the creation. So, yes, and we do have gringos, part of our chamber, so obviously they don't speak Spanish. So it is about, communication, together and helping each other. So it's maintaining a positive attitude and moving forward. And no, you don't have to be Puerto Rican. That's what it's called, the Florida Hispanic American. That's when you look at the representation of over 20 countries, 21 countries, different. So it's not about Venezuelans, it's not about Cubans, it's not about, Dominicans, no. It is about how can we help the whole community and move forward. And that's, when you look really right now, for example, the school district, 37% of the students are Hispanics. Of the 290,000 students, 37% are Hispanics, from different countries. And it's the largest minority within the school district, and then the African Americans, and then the rest, that goes there. But again, it's about working with the community, working with the students, and at the same time, that you got to recognize that there's some of those students that they're the ones who speak, they're bilingual, not their parents. Their parents speak only one language, whatever they brought from the country. But the kids, they know already 2 or 3, so it is very interesting, that dynamic, how it goes.
Okay, so you guys got it. Now, what do you say then to those who say, hey, I thought this was the Hispanic chamber. I need it in Spanish, because I know even in myself, I guess everywhere I go, I can just blend in. And so I've had to tell people, habla más despacio. I need you to go slower. And people will try to shame you. I've even had it in Germany where people are like, what do you mean you don't speak German? Who are your parents? So what about those purists who say, I want all the meetings in Spanish because they should learn our language. We know enough of theirs.
And what we try to do, again, we work with them. Those who need Spanish only because they don't speak English, not a problem. We talk to them in Spanish. Those who need to be spoken in Portuguese, we get somebody who speaks Portuguese to them, and so forth. So it is about, again, blending in, and it's communication, moving forward, and helping the community move forward. And the membership, it's not going to make anybody broke. You have the basic membership, it's $150 a year. Or if you want to be a corporate member, which give you a lot more benefits, to it, like advertising and so a lot of other stuff, it's only $1,000 a year. That's $83 a month, So it is something like, it's not to get you broken or you're going to need a loan, to be a member. No, that's what it's all about.
And it's a business expense as well, folks. So if you have a company, you got to use some money or the IRS will try to come take it. So I call it burning money, but those of you who have a CPA, you get it. You're the work that you have cut out. I mean, dealing with, everybody and just that's sainthood right there, because you'll have, outside of the languages, Spanish or Portuguese, you also have the indigenous languages of so many countries. And, people will look at you as a leader and say, well, what about us? Like, hold on. Do I have to also speak every indigenous language too and get someone? I'll do my best. There's so many. How do you deal with that just as a person?
Well, it's never been an issue, and I was very fortunate that my family and I were able to live in other countries, and we learned, some of us, I had to learn other languages, and that I never spoken in my life, but I was the only one. If I didn't know that language, I would not be able to survive, over there. But, I was very fortunate on that side. So it is about, again, how do you relate? How do you communicate? How do you approach? How do you move forward? And that's what we're trying to do. And that's why, as a chamber, we're moving right now to create. We have a concept that we are creating. We're in the process of creating business incubators. So it is about helping those small businesses become certified. Get all the requirements that they need, that they understand why they're doing it. So it's a little bit of hand holding, and walking together, so that we can get it. And that's what we're going to be having some seminars coming up. We have one of the cities that we're going to be, our building is going to be situated there, and it's open for the whole county. And again, working with the community and working with the residents, of that specific city or the other cities, doesn't really matter, because at the end, when you look for business, it's about how do you get certified for the requirements of the city of West Palm Beach, or the city of Royal Palm Beach, or the city of Wellington, or the city of Del Rey. Doesn't really matter. It is about how do we move forward together. And the other thing is to have people understand that you might be able to qualify just because you're Hispanic. Why? Or you might be qualified just because you're African American. The MBW, so it's a women's owned business, so again, and there's specifics within each of these organizations, like the county, like the school district, the cities, and so forth, that classify business for that purpose, to give opportunity to a small minority businesses to participate. And the other thing is, we're trying to also, when we do the hand holding process and, walking through this, is like, okay, if there's a bid, let's say, just to pick a number out there, for $1 million, but your capability is basically, hey, 200,000. Don't bite more than you can chew, because you're gonna fail, and then they're gonna reject you forever. So make sure that you gain what you have, or maybe you cannot be a contractor, but you might be able to qualify as a subcontractor. For that bigger business, and that's how you get in. It's how do you get across that door? How do you get in, and move forward? And in the process, you learn, and you make notes of all the things you learn. You just don't throw it in the garbage, you make sure you remember, because you don't need it in the future. So that's what we're talking about. That's how we move forward.
You guys right there, that's worth $150. Think about what Juan has told you just on here on how to better your business and, go after those government RFPs, RFQs, and my favorite, source of socks. Those are the best. And I want you to not get a game overload. I want you to make a real action and check out the HispanicChamber.org. Check out the website. Links will be in the description box. You guys have been blessed by the game. Juan, I thank you. Please tell the people where they can find you and any last words.
Yeah, you know, guys, you can visit the Florida Hispanic American Chamber of Commerce, because there's another Hispanic chamber here. That's when we moved here. We wanted to call it Hispanic Chamber. We could not, you know. So in the spur of the moment, that's what we named it, Puerto Rican Hispanic. Then now, effective January the 1st, 2021, we changed to Florida Hispanic American Chamber. So you can go to www.hispanicchamber.org, you know, and you will find all our information, everything you need. Our phone numbers are there. So that will not be a problem. We're more than happy to work with you, happy to help you, and let us know. You know, let's stay in touch.
You guys have been blessed by the game. If you do nothing else, share it. It will change somebody's life. Be blessed.
Hi everyone. Have you ever been curious about visiting Africa? Which African country were you interested in? Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, South Africa, Ethiopia? Which country are you interested in? My good friend, Kellen Cash Coleman, came up with a course called My First Trip to Africa that'll guide you through this process. It's only $20, and in this course you'll learn about passports, visas, vaccinations that you need before you go there, as well as a budget, how much the trip is going to cost. He also talks about what you should pack, what you should take with you, how you should travel on a budget. Did you know that $100 is worth 1,000 South African rand and over 10,000 Kenyan shillings? So imagine what you can do with $100 back home. I say back home because I'm from Sudan, I'm African, I already know how it's like. I know that, you know, when you convert Canadian and American money, it goes a long way when you're traveling across Africa. So if you're curious, if Africa is a place that you've always wanted to go, always wanted to move there, Kellen Cash is the person to ask. Check out the course. There's a little preview you can listen to before you actually purchase it. If you're interested in this course, visit www.diversifiedgame.com. Don't miss out.